From spending $2,000 a year on takeout meals you barely remember, to watching that same money grow into $225,000 in an index fund. These are 16 investments that are keeping you poor. Extended warranties, they sound responsible, protective, like a financial safety net wrapped in official-looking paperwork. But here's the reality. Extended warranties are one of the most quietly profitable products for retailers, and one of the most unnecessary expenses for consumers. Why do people buy them? Fear the idea that our new laptop, fridge, or even headphones might implode the day after the standard warranty expires, and nobody wants to be stuck with a broken product and no protection. So, for a small fee, just $79.99, more, you can sleep better at night. Here's the catch. Most products today are reliable enough to survive long past the standard warranty. Consumer Reports found that, in most cases, the repair cost outside warranty is equal to or less than the cost of the extended warranty itself, and most people never use the coverage they bought. In fact, major retailers make up to 70% profit margins on extended warranties. That's more than they make on the actual products. Take Sarah, for example. She bought a $1,200 TV and paid $199 for a 3-year extended warranty. 2 years later, the TV was still perfect, but the same model had dropped to $600. Even if it had broken, she could have replaced it for less than what she originally paid, including the warranty. I bought peace of mind, Shay said, but I could have bought a new TV instead. So what do savvy spenders do? They say that means skipping the warranty and keeping a small emergency fund for surprise repairs. Over time, they save thousands by simply betting on the odds, and the odds are in their favor. If you've ever bought one of these just to feel safe, comment card if this one hit a little too close to home. And speaking of products that promise more than they deliver, let's look at the shiny tech gadgets that quietly drain your wallet every single month. Trendy smart home gadgets, they beep, they glow, they obey your voice, and they're quietly turning your home into a museum of overpriced convenience. Smart home gadgets promised future efficiency, control, luxury. Who doesn't want a fridge that tells you when your milk expires, or a mirror that complements your outfit with AI-generated positivity? But here's the trick. Most of these gadgets solve problems that never really existed, and they cost you far more than they return. The emotional hook is clear. Modern tech equals modern living. People feel productive just by owning smart things, but smart doesn't always mean wise. That $300 smart faucet still needs water pressure. That $400 app-connected air purifier functions the same as a $100 one with a switch. According to a 2023 study the average U.S. household spends over $1,200 per year on smart home tech, and a third of users abandon devices within 12 months because they stop working properly, require constant updates, or just aren't useful. Translation: you're buying tomorrow's clutter at today's premium. Take Mark from Seattle. He automated his blinds, thermostat, lights, even his dog feeder. Total bill over $4,500. He admits it was fun for about a week, then it became a maintenance nightmare. What do financially sharp households do instead? They invest in durable, low-tech alternatives that last longer, break less, and don't require subscriptions, firmware updates, or smartphone apps just to turn off a light. And let's say you redirected that $1,200 annual gadget spend into an index fund. But if you thought smart devices were sneaky, wait until you see how luxury fitness memberships flex your wallet harder than your muscles. Branded gym memberships and boutique fitness classes, it feels productive. Healthy, a symbol of discipline. You sign up for that sleek $140 a month fitness studio, thinking, now I'll finally commit. But here's the truth, you're not just paying for results, you're paying for branding, mood lighting, and lavender-scented towels. The emotional pull is real. Boutique gyms market lifestyle, not fitness. You're buying community, exclusivity, aesthetics. But while your wallet gets lighter, your fitness may not improve proportionally. A yoga session in a sunlit studio with custom playlists sounds great until you realize you're re-spending $1,700 a year to stretch in a room that smells like eucalyptus. According to a 2022 IHRSA report, over 60% of boutique gym members attend less than once a week after the first 3 months. That means you're essentially making a luxury payment for a guilt subscription. Let's look at Jenna from Chicago. She joined a high-end spinning club, $165 a month. It felt empowering, she said, until I did the math and realized I'd paid over $2,000 for 20 classes. That's $100 per workout. Meanwhile, a pair of dumbbells and a YouTube channel cost basically nothing. So what do the financially fit do? They choose value-focused fitness, public gyms, home workouts, bodyweight routines. Not glamorous, but effective. Fitness doesn't need branding, it needs consistency. And if you took that $1,700 and invested it yearly instead, in 25 years you'd have over $125,000. That's a six-pack for your portfolio. Subscribe if you've ever justified a $1,000 purchase by calling it an investment. We've all been there. But if you think branded workouts are expensive, wait until you realize your morning coffee run might be worth more than your entire retirement plan. Daily takeaway coffee or smoothie runs. It's just $5, maybe $7 with a tip. Harmless, right? After all, you need that cold brew or protein smoothie to start your day. But here's the trick: daily indulgences, disguised as necessities, are one of the most underestimated wealth leaks in modern life. Why do we do it? Convenience, comfort, a ritual. That friendly barista, the cup with your name, the feeling of control during a chaotic morning. It's not just caffeine, it's identity. But identity comes with a price tag. Let's break it down. A $6 coffee or smoothie every weekday equals $1,560 per year. Add weekends. Now meet Luis from Miami. He grabbed a $6 iced oat milk latte every morning before work, convinced it was a non-negotiable productivity boost. After tracking his spending for 1 year, he discovered he had spent $2,800 on coffee. It was autopilot, he said. I never even felt the money leaving. The financially aware take a different route. They invest in at-home setups, quality beans, a grinder, a reliable blender, maybe a French press. The total setup might cost $200, but it pays for itself in a month. And the best part, you control the ingredients, quality, and cost. Now here's where it really hurts. If you invested that $6 daily instead just $180 per month into a simple S&P 500 index fund averaging 8% returns, in 30 years you'd have over $225,000. That's a lifetime of free coffee, plus early retirement. And speaking of looking rich while quietly bleeding money, let's talk about the designer clothes and limited drops that promise status but deliver nothing for your net worth. Name brand clothing and hype fashion drops. It's sleek, it's limited. It dropped at midnight and sold out by 12:03. You tell yourself, it's exclusive, it'll hold value. But that Supreme hoodie or Gucci belt, ISNT an investment it, SA costume with a receipt. We fall for the hype because fashion sells more than fabric. It sells status, identity, that feeling of being admired without saying a word. And brands know this. They carefully craft scarcity and social proof so you believe you're buying into a movement, not just overpriced cotton. Let's talk numbers. According to a 2024 Business of Fashion report, the average American now spends over $1,800 annually on name brand apparel, and most of it rarely worn. A study by Rap UK found that the average piece of fast fashion is worn just 7 times before being forgotten. That $300 sneaker, it's not building wealth, it's collecting dust. Consider Jordan from LA. He waited in line overnight for a limited pair of sneakers. Retail, $250. After 2 wears, they were worth $180 on resale. I told myself I was collecting, but I was just spending. So what do financially conscious stressors do? They build a wardrobe based on timeless value, not viral trends. Think quality over logo, fit over hype, and durability over drip. Brands like Uniqlo, Everlane, or secondhand options give you 80% of the look for 20% of the cost. And if you had skipped just one $300 fashion drop per year and invested it annually over 30 years. But if you think wearable status symbols are expensive, wait until you see what people spend turning their homes into over-decorating and fast home makeovers. It starts with one scented candle, then a velvet throw pillow. Before you know it, you're deep into accent walls, floating shelves, and a $900 minimalist coffee table, all in the name of creating a home that looks like a Pinterest board but acts like a financial sinkhole. Why do we do it? Because decorating feels productive. It feels like progress. Your home is your sanctuary, and upgrading it gives a sense of control, creativity, and yes, but in the age of reels and room tours, we're not decorating to live better. We're decorating to impress strangers who'll scroll past in seconds. The numbers paint the picture. The average American spends $2,700 per year on home and furnishings, according to a 2023 survey by Statista, and most of those purchases aren't planned. They're impulse buys fueled by trends pastels 1 year, brutalism the next. Take Olivia from Denver. She spent $12,000 over 2 years redecorating her living room 3 times. It felt exciting, she said, but now I just feel cluttered and broke. What do the financially focused do instead? They opt for intentional minimalism. They invest in timeless pieces, buy secondhand or vintage, and only upgrade when something breaks or adds clear value. They decorate for function, not social media. And here's the real costs. If you saved just $2,000 per year and invested it instead, in 25 years you'd have over $157,000. That's more than a full home renovation paid in cash. But if you think throw pillows are expensive, wait until we talk about the silent killer of modern bank accounts. Subscriptions you forgot you even had. Subscription overload. It starts innocently. A music app here, a streaming service there, maybe a fitness app, a meal plan, cloud storage, language learning, meditation. Suddenly your bank account reads like a digital museum of forgotten intentions. Why do we fall for it? Because subscriptions are designed to be frictionless. They sell convenience, possibility, self-improvement, and they cost just $5.99 a month. But the real danger lies in the accumulation, not the amount. A 2023 study by CR Research found that the average American underestimates their monthly subscription spend by over 200%. Most people believe they spend around $80, when in reality it's closer to $219 per month. That's over $2,600 a year. And worse, up to 60% of those subscriptions go unused. Let's take Chris from Atlanta. He tracked every active subscription on his accounts and found 27 services draining his wallet. Meditation apps he hadn't opened in months, to streaming platforms he forgot he had, 3 cloud backups, and even a monthly bacon box. I was paying $17 a month for cartoon filters, he said. I didn't even remember signing up. So what do the financially disciplined do? They audit. Once per quarter they check every active subscription and cancel anything that isn't providing consistent value. They avoid trial periods that are touring you and choose annual billing only if it saves real money. And the opportunity cost, if you invested that $219 a monthly spend instead of leaking it on forgettable features, you'd have over $247,000 in 30 years. That's not just wealth, that's financial peace. But if you think subscriptions are sneaky, wait until you realize how much you're burning just to be seen with the newest phone. That's barely different from the one you already have. Buying the latest phone every year, it's thinner, faster, brighter, our best camera yet. And just like that, you relining up or tapping pre-order spending $1,200 on a device that's nearly identical to the one already in your pocket. Why do people do it? FOMO status, the illusion of falling behind if you don't upgrade. Tech companies masterfully market minor improvements as revolutionary breakthroughs, and we buy it not because we need it, but because it makes us feel current, competent, and connected. But here's the truth. The average smartphone improvement year over year is incremental, not transformational. Most flagship phones now offer 90% of their total value for 3 to 5 years. So when you upgrade annually, you're not buying better tech, you're buying shorter satisfaction. Let's look at Alicia from New York. She upgraded her iPhone every year for 6 years straight. The wealth-savvy take a different approach. They keep phones until functionality, not fashion, demands a change. They skip extended payment plans and buy gently used or refurbished models, often for half the price. And here's the kicker. If you took just half the cost of a flagship phone set, $600, and invested it annually over 25 years, you'd end up with over $52,000. That's a lot of 4K screens and night mode selfies you never needed in the first place. But if you thought phones were an expensive habit, just wait until you see how much students spend on books they barely open or courses they never finish. Buying new instead of used new feels clean, shiny, safe. You open the box, peel the plastic, and there it is, yours untouched. But while the experience is satisfying, the financial impact is anything but. People buy new because it feels more reliable, more exciting, more deserved. Whether it's furniture, electronics, workout gear, or even cars, there's a comfort in knowing no one else has owned it. But here's what most don't realize. That feeling comes at a premium, often for no added value. Let's look at the numbers. New furniture depreciates by 20 to 30% the moment it leaves the store. Electronics lose resale value the minute they're unboxed. And gently used items, especially from trusted marketplaces or certified outlets, offer identical performance for half the price. Take Marcus from Portland. He furnished his first apartment entirely with brand new items. Total bill. What do the financially smart do? They buy used with purpose, quality items that hold up over time. They search secondhand, wait for estate sales, use local marketplaces, and even trade within their communities. It's not about being cheap. It's about being efficient with your money. And the upside, if you consistently saved 40% by buying used across major purchases and invested that difference, say $3,000, annually you could grow over $290,000 in 25 years. But if you think buying a second-hand couch is smart, wait until you see what happens when people drop $5,000 on a trip because they've earned it, and come home to a mountain of debt. Impulse travel and revenge vacations. You've worked hard. You deserve it. One click later, you've booked a 5-night getaway at a luxury resort with ocean views, premium excursions, and a price tag that quietly follows you home. Welcome to the world of impulse travel and so-called revenge vacations. The emotional driver, escapism. After a stressful year or a breakup or even just a long winter, people crave change. Travel offers identity, status, and the illusion of self. Social media only fuels the fire, making it seem like everyone else is living their best life on a beach in Bali. But here's the financial reality. The average American vacation costs around $2,100 per person, according to banks. And nearly 45% of travelers put at least part of it on a credit card they can not pay off immediately. That means a vacation keeps costing long after the tan fades. Consider Elena from Boston. After a rough breakup, she booked a spontaneous luxury trip to 2 spa treatments, private yoga, and beachfront dining. Felt like healing until the $4,800 bill hit. I came back relaxed, but I also came back broke, she admitted. So what do financially grounded travelers do? They plan in advance, set firm budgets, travel during off-peak seasons, and focus on experiences rather than luxury. A meaningful trip doesn't have to involve 5-star hotels or last-minute splurges. And the opportunity cost. If you swapped just one $3,000 impulsive vacation every 2 years for a budget-friendly alternative and invested the difference, you'd end up with over $120,000 after 20 years. But if you think vacations are costly, wait until you see how expensive it gets when you let compound interest work against you. One minimum credit card payment at a time. High-interest credit card debt, it starts small. A $200 purchase here, a $600 emergency there. You tell yourself you'll pay it off soon, but then the minimum payments start to pile up, and before you know it, you're stuck in a cycle that quietly drains your future. Credit cards offer convenience and rewards, but they also offer one of the most dangerous financial traps available to the average consumer. The emotional trigger is immediate relief. Swipe now, worry later. But later comes with interest rates averaging 24% or more in 2025. Here's the math. Carrying a $5,000 balance and paying only the minimum means it could take over 17 years to pay off, and you'll end up paying more than $11,000 in total. That's not a purchase. That's a financial prison. Let's talk about Greg from Houston. He used credit to furnish his apartment after landing his first job. I thought I'd pay it off in a few months, he said. 3 years later, he was still carrying a balance of over $7,000 and had paid nearly $4,000 in interest alone. I bought a couch, but I was really renting my freedom, he added. So what did the financially literate do? They treat credit cards like debit cards. They pay the balance in full each month, use rewards wisely, and avoid carrying balances at all costs. And if they do fall into debt, their first priority is getting out fast. And here's the missed opportunity. If you avoided just $5,000 in credit card interest and instead invested it with 8% returns, it could grow to over $50,000 in 20 years. But if you think that's painful, wait until you hear about the people who lose even more, chasing financial freedom through a pyramid of promises. MLMs and passive income coaching scams. It sounds perfect. Work from anywhere. Unlimited earning potential. Be your own boss. For just one small payment or a starter kit, you're promised the keys to financial freedom. But behind the glamorous pitch lies a sobering truth. Most people lose money chasing this illusion. The emotional bait is powerful. People crave independence, control over their time, and a path out of the 9-to-5 grind. Multi-level marketing companies and shady online gurus know this. They sell hope packaged as opportunity, with testimonials of success and photos of luxury lifestyles. But the numbers tell a very different story. According to the Federal Trade Commission, over 99% of MLM participants lose money or make nothing. Many actually go into debt trying to buy inventory, attend seminars, or unlock higher commission tiers. The same goes for countless passive income coaching programs that offer vague strategies for building wealth, but deliver recycled advice and zero accountability. Take Naomi from Tampa. She spent $3,500 on a digital business course that promised to teach her how to earn money in her sleep. After 6 months, she had no revenue, no refund, and no response from the so-called mentor. It was my tuition for a fantasy, she said. So what do the financially wise do? They build real skills. They invest time into learning from credible, proven sources. They question any offer that guarantees wealth with little effort and no risk. And if you had taken that $3,500 and invested it instead, in 30 years it could become over $35,000. That is, actual passive income earned by patience, not promises. But if you think MLMs are dangerous, wait until you see how devastating it can be to buy the house of your dreams before you can truly afford it. Buying a home you can barely afford, it's the dream. A backyard, a kitchen island, maybe even a walk-in closet. You convince yourself it's a smart move because owning is better than renting, right? But buying a home that stretches your budget to the breaking point is not a step toward freedom. It's a slow march into financial stress. The emotional pull is powerful. Home ownership is tied to adulthood, success and stability. But the hidden costs, maintenance, property taxes, insurance, HOA fees, surprise repairs can quickly turn a dream home into a financial nightmare, especially when you have no margin left after the mortgage clears. According to Zillow, over 37% of recent home buyers in the U.S. regret their purchase, with most citing unexpected costs as the main reason. And over 60% of first-time buyers put less than 20% down, which increases monthly payments and adds private mortgage insurance. This leaves them house-rich but can't. Take Brian and Ashley from Orlando. They bought a $540,000 home at the top of their budget, thinking their incomes would grow into the payments. But rising interest rates and a surprise $9,000 roof repair left them relying on credit cards just to stay afloat. We owned the house, Brian said, but it owned our peace of mind. What do financially careful buyers do? They buy below their budget, not at the edge of it. They factor in all future costs, build a solid emergency fund, and prioritize flexibility over square footage, because a smaller home with financial breathing room beats a bigger house with constant anxiety. And here's the kicker. If you bought a $400,000 home instead of a $500,000 one and invested the difference, in 30 years you'd have over $370,000 more in net worth. But if you think that's the worst trap, the next one is the crown jewel of financial a gleaming, roaring machine that devours dollars with every mile. Luxury cars bought on credit. It turns heads. It hums with power. It smells like success. And it quietly drains your bank account every single month. Buying a luxury car on credit might feel like a reward, but financially, it is one of the most costly illusions of wealth. People fall for it because cars are visible status symbols. Driving a BMW, Mercedes, or Tesla signals that you've made it. It feels like progress. But here's the truth. Cars are depreciating assets, and the fancier they are, the faster they lose value. Combine that with a hefty loan, and you've got a recipe for long-term regret. The average luxury car loan in the US now exceeds $850 per month, with some buyers stretching to 96-month terms just to make payments affordable. But long loans mean higher interest and more time spent upside out, more than the car is worth. Meet Jamal from Dallas. He financed a $75,000 Audi after a job promotion, thinking it would motivate him to keep leveling up. 2 years later, he wanted a downgrade but still owed $11,000 more than the car's resale value. It felt like success, he said, but it became a burden I couldn't escape. What do the truly wealthy do? They buy cars that serve a purpose, not an image. Often used, often reliable, and almost always paid for in cash. Warren Buffett himself drove a modest Cadillac for years, not because he couldn't afford better, but because he saw no financial upside in showing off. Now here's the big picture. If instead of financing a $75,000 car, you bought a $25,000 used vehicle and invested the $50,000 difference, you could grow over $500,000 in 30 years. That's not just transportation, that's transformation. And with that, we've reached the worst offender. A financial move that feels like success but quietly devours your wealth while smiling at your granite countertops. Watch the next video if you're serious about keeping your money.